Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Thursday. So today I am doing another video about gray hair. I have a little bit of a bias probably for gray hair. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. I am so glad that I made the decision to let my hair grow out and to let it be what it is. That being said, I do know there are still a lot of women out there who have the mindset of I wouldn't be caught dead with gray hair. I think I would look far too old with gray hair. I don't want to look like a grandma yet. I don't like the way gray hair looks on me. And honestly, all of those reasons are totally valid. And if letting your gray hair grow out doesn't appeal to you, if it's not truly something that you want for yourself, then definitely don't do it. You know, I'm by no means trying to pressure other women to just let it go. That being said, there are a lot of women who are kind of on the fence, trying to figure out whether it's worthwhile going through the process, because I will not deny the fact that letting your hair grow out, it can be, that can be a rough stage, depending on what your natural hair color was before it turned gray. There could be like a really dark line of like demarcation. There are ways around that. I think that a hairdresser can certainly help make things a little bit smoother when it comes to transitioning into your gray hair. They can certainly help you bleach it out completely and then just put in a gray toner, and then you just kind of go from there. Some people find cutting their hair really short and just kind of starting over is a good way to go. You kind of have to figure out, if you want to transition, what would work best for you. But I definitely encourage you, if you have it in your heart to embrace your naturally gray hair, whether you are 25, whether you are 40, or whether you're 60 or 70, do it. If you want to do it, definitely do it. And today I'm going to give you some of my top reasons that I think are kind of good reasons for taking that leap and embracing your gray hair. Just some things that I think are important to really think about. And here's the amazing, fantastic thing about gray hair. Say you grow it out and you look in the mirror one day and you're like, nope, this isn't for me. I can't. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the fact that I maybe have to tweak my makeup so much. Although I will say, I tweaked my makeup a little bit, but for the most part, like today I'm rocking some warm colors and I feel like I can still pull it off. It's not my personal preference. You guys know that I prefer cooler tone shades when it comes to makeup, but at the same time, like I still have a lot of palettes that have a lot of warm sunsetty type shades, and I still wear them. May not look the best, but I like it. So yeah, let's just kind of go through and let's talk about gray hair. And like I said, if you decide one day that you don't like it, it's very easy to just color your hair again and just be like, okay, it was good. It was a good attempt, good experiment. I learned something about myself, and maybe you learn that gray hair really isn't for you. So that's the beauty of it. Like, I encourage people to go through the process, because at the end of it, like, this isn't permanent. Like, if I want to change this, I can totally change it. I can go back to being blonde. I've had brunette hair. I was born a blonde. But I have colored my hair red. I've colored my hair brown. I've even dyed it black, which don't recommend. But yeah, I've been all sorts of hair colors, and truthfully, this is my favorite color. I love my hair. I feel like I have way more confidence now than I ever had before, and I think it just has to do with this attitude change that I had when I decided to go gray. It was just like, this is who I am. I'm gonna own it. Do some people hate it? Oh yes. I get a number of comments on YouTube every single day. I have a lot of videos on my channel, obviously, so there's a number of comments that come through, and when I wake up in the morning, I will often read through them, and there's, you know, the occasional, your hair is ugly, your hair makes you look like you're 20 years older than you actually are, I don't like your hair color, you should change your hair color, which is always my personal favorite. Like, yes, random person who left a comment, yes. Oh my gosh, thank God. Thank God that you told me to change my hair color, because I'm really gonna take your advice. No, I'm kind of past the stage of being bullied, or I don't wanna say bullied, but like being told to do things somebody else's way. It's not their head, it's my head, and I like it, and it's staying. You don't have to look at it if you don't want to. All right, let's talk about the reasons to go gray, because there's positivity around it, and that's what I want to encourage here. There are positives that are to be had, and a lot of you have mentioned that you have been growing out your hair because you've been stuck at home for 3 months. You haven't been to the hairdresser, and you have a nice amount of growth going, and let's start with that. That might be a great place to start. If you already have like a couple of inches, maybe visit your hairdresser, tell them what you're gonna do, and maybe they can help you transition a little bit easier, or just rock it. There's a lot of women that do that too. Okay, number one, it's going to make your life easier. Honestly, how many of you with substantial gray hair have to touch up your roots every, 3-4 weeks? I know that when I was still coloring my hair, it was once a month chore to go to the drugstore, get the hair dye, come back home, do my roots, run it through the rest of my hair so that it all matched. And I would do that every single month. Like, realistically, I should have probably done it every like 3 weeks, because my hair tends to grow pretty fast, and so I would have quite a bit of gray showing. But I didn't have the energy and, quite frankly, the time to do it that frequently. So once a month, I would go to the drugstore, get the hair dye, bring it home. For the longest time, I was going to have my hair done by my hairdresser, who I loved, and she's amazing, but quite frankly, I couldn't afford the upkeep there, so it was easier for me to do it at home. So luckily, the hairdresser I was seeing at the time was actually kind of a friend of mine, and so I asked her, you know, the best way to do it at home, and she kind of walked me through it, and every time that I would show up, you know, she would be like, hey, looks good. You're doing a good job. Your hair is uniform, whatever, you know? So, but really not having to cover your roots is going to free up some time. For some of you, you cover your roots up every 6 weeks, some of you every 3 weeks. No matter what you do, it's going to save you some time, and quite frankly, it's probably gonna save you a fair amount of money. Put that money towards something else. I mean, depending on where you live, it can vary greatly for the price of touching up your roots or doing an all over color. Where I live, to do my cut and my color in a salon was costing me about $160 without the tip. So by the time that I would tip, I would be almost $200 out, and that got to be insane, which is why I continued the haircuts in the salon, but started doing the color part at home. Saved me a ton of money, and it just made it so much easier. So anyway, yeah, it's gonna save you some time. It's really liberating. I don't know what it is, but Definitely the second thing for me that was the most noticeable when I finally decided to make the decision was that I just felt so much more empowered and just a lot happier and just more content with who I was, because I didn't feel like I was covering something up. It just honestly made me feel so much more confident, and I love that. Not that I didn't have confidence before, but it definitely, I got a boost from it, and I don't know why, because you would think with more people insulting me that I would, kind of shrink within myself and maybe just color it again and, so that I don't have to worry about what people think, but I just didn't care anymore. Maybe that's because I hit a certain stage of my life. I don't know, but whatever, it's very empowering. And I've heard a lot of you say the same thing who have decided to let your hair go gray. All right. The third reason kind of goes with reason number one. You're not spending money on covering up your roots. So you're saving money. You really are saving a substantial amount, like I said, depending on how much it takes to get your roots done or your all over color done at a salon. So I know a lot of hairdressers have told a lot of people who have left comments on my channel that they don't support the client or the person going gray. I've heard that hairdressers have told people that it ages them, they're too young to go gray, just all sorts of reasons for not doing it. And I totally understand why a hairdresser would want to discourage their client from embracing their gray hair, because that's obviously money that the hairdresser is no longer making from that particular client in terms of coloring their hair. I totally get that from the standpoint of the hairdresser. However, I always hate to hear that a hairdresser is discouraging someone from doing something, because there have definitely been cases based on what I've seen in the comments where a lot of people have changed their mind because they're like, well, my hairdresser didn't want me to do it. They said that it wouldn't look good. They said I don't have the right type of gray hair. Or do what you want. It's not up to your hairdresser. It is your hair. Own it, do what you want with it. If that person refuses to help you transition, find a new hairdresser. They are there for you. So, go in there, tell them what you want, and have confidence in that and move forward. Because again, if you don't like it when it's all said and done, you can totally go back to that hairdresser, and I'm sure they will be very happy to help you color your hair again. But don't let a hairdresser discourage you from coloring your hair. There's probably a reason why they're doing that. Number 4, and this one is, I wouldn't say this is a concern for a lot of people, but you are definitely going to do the environment a favor by not coloring your hair. There are, I don't want to say a lot of toxins in hair color, but there are some ingredients that are probably questionable. There are reasons why, you really shouldn't color your hair when you're pregnant. By the way, that was tough for me when I was pregnant with Stella, because I went gray around 25. So I had Stella at 33. So I was definitely in like that gray hair mode, and it was really hard for me. And I do think actually kind of towards the middle of my pregnancy, I did do a little root touch up because I just couldn't look at it anymore. But yeah, there are bad or less than ideal ingredients in hair color. Not coloring your hair sort of eliminates those from your life overall, and it's probably better for the environment. So if you are someone who cares about something like that, that's a very good reason to just choose to let your hair go gray. And then the last one is that I think for the vast majority of people, their hair feels a lot healthier. It actually looks better when they let their hair go their natural color. Colored hair definitely has a different feel to it. I know that for me personally because I colored my hair for a number of years. My hair texture certainly has changed just a little bit, but it's still very fine, very thin. but I feel like it is so much healthier now. I do have to be careful with making sure that I hydrate it. So I use very hydrating products on my hair now, but it feels so much healthier and just like it has like a shine to it. I love it. I love the different colors that I have going throughout. I even enjoy the slightly different texture, which is just a little, it almost feels a little thicker. I don't want to say coarse, but it does feel a little bit thicker now. And it could very well be because I'm not losing as much hair from coloring it. Coloring your hair can definitely damage it, and that can lead to hair breakage. I don't know that hair color can make your hair fall out, but I had a fair amount of breakage. I just don't have that now, and as a result, I feel like my hair seems to grow faster. It feels healthier overall, and I'm so happy with the way that it looks. So if you have been on the fence, these are definitely my 5 reasons or just some things to think about if you're planning on taking that leap of going gray. If any of these are important to you, I definitely encourage you to just do it, because like I keep saying, if you don't like it, just color it again, but at least give it a chance. I love seeing more and more women out in public with gray hair, and there is this weird sisterhood that you feel with even complete strangers. When I am at Target or when I'm out at the grocery store and I see another woman with gray hair, whether it's like the 75-year-old grandma or whether it's like another 40-year-old mom like me, like we smile at each other, and there's just kind of this understanding of like, you're doing it. That's so cool. There's another person who isn't buying into the typical beauty standard. So yeah, there is this really nice sisterhood that you just become a part of, and it is a very supportive community. Those people who have decided to go gray and they have YouTube channels dedicated to it, or blogs, or Instagrams, it's wonderful to interact with those people because they just have this sense of just being content and just loving who they are. And I don't know, that's a cool thing to be a part of. So anyway, I hope this video was inspiring in some kind of way. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I do have an entire gray hair playlist. This will be going into that playlist. You can find it on my main channel. It's right down there at the bottom. And I address a lot of issues like how to transition, how to change your makeup, what to do with your eyebrows. That's a frequent question. There's a lot of questions. So you'll probably find the answer in any of those videos on that playlist. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.